welcome to Limited Time Only.
The podcast for anyone who feels there aren't enough hours in their life.
Limited Time Only is a mix of chat, comedy sketches and interviews with interesting people.
We hope that we will make you smile, laugh and feel a bit brighter about the whole life, death and everything in between malarkey.
Essentially, we're dissecting the human condition, just using a rubber chicken rather than a scalpel.
I'm Esther.
And I'm Susie.
And this is Limited Time Only.
This week it's time for Square Eyes.
Oh, Esther, I haven't got any ideas for this week's show. I feel completely uninspired.
Sure.
Esther, what are you stuffing into your mouth?
A bit of Lady Macbeth for inspiration.
You're eating the works of Shakespeare?
No, I'm eating a delicious bar of Lady Macbeth dark orange chocolate from Sweet Theatre. I've just finished off Alice in Wonderland. Even the artwork on the packaging is beautiful.
Is it helping?
Indeed it is. Here, have a little nibble on Oscar Wilde.
Mm.
That one's gin and tonic flavour.
Yum. Have you got any more?
Um.
Esther, have you eaten all the Sweet Theatre chocolate?
Should I exit stage left?
Yeah, I think you should.
Sweet Theatre. Chocolate with drama. Available online at sweettheatre.com and in participating theatres. If Esther hasn't eaten it all.
We're going to talk about TV. TV and film. Film.
Yes. Film.
Film.
Film. Or we're going to talk about film. I love a good film.
Oh, now I've got a feeling. I think you watch more telly than me.
Probably my kids are way older, so probably, yeah.
But and are more, I don't know, clued up. I think my television references are going to be quite ancient. I have watched a few things recently. But, you know, I could probably count on one hand the programmes I watched in the last 12 months.
Okay, go on then, hit me.
Oh, gosh, really? Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Well, some of them are quite long series, but Parks and Recreation.
Oh, yeah, I've not seen it.
Bridgerton. I haven't finished it.
Oh, I watched the first couple and
Haven't
it didn't grab me, but I've been told to persevere with that because apparently it gets very good.
It's a bit saucy.
Didn't you watch some of the slightly more intimate scenes with your husband sandwich in between you and your mum?
Yeah. So Mum and I were watching. It was great because I only really watch telly with my mum. So when she comes to stay, which is once every 4 months, I get to watch telly. And Joel was sat in the middle of us with his laptop doing some work and on the sofa. And he wasn't paying attention to the programme. And he looked up just at the moment when there was some serious Regency masturbation going on. Yeah, it was quite orcs.
Did his computer start rising up?
Hit him in the face.
Yeah. Sorry, Alison and Susie. Oh,
it was funny though. Yes, I need to finish it. I have watched the very, very racy episode. Not with my mum, but I haven't got any further than that. What else? I watched a really good Space Force 1. Space Force.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember. It's got
Steve Carell.
I was going to say Kim Cattrall. Different gender, complete different person. Steve Carell.
Starts with a C though for the surname.
Starts with C. And John Malkovich. And it's brilliant. Yes. And I think it took a while. It took a couple of episodes for us to get into it. And then, oh my goodness, we loved it. And I hope there's a second series coming. Yeah, I can't remember any other programmes. Oh, and of course, Line of Duty.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember anything else.
Do you know what? I can't think of many modern. I can't think of any modern shows that I've watched. Actually, I'll tell you the one series that I did watch last year. Actually, Normal People.
I've not seen
I loved Normal People. I watched it twice. I just devoured it. I loved it. Oh God, Suze, it's so lovely, and it's quite slow and gentle, but
it's racy as well, though, isn't it? It's a bit racy.
It is racy.
Am I going to cope?
Yes, it is racy. Are you gonna what?
Am I going to cope?
Cope.
Not an M.
Yes, I think you'll cope. Yeah, no, it's not that kind. It's just about young love, and it's. I read the book in half a day as well. Because I just after I'd watched the series because I loved it. Normal People I loved, but It's a Sin that was on Channel 4. If you haven't watched it, Suze, watch it. It is one of the best pieces of television, and it's heartbreaking. I've said to my daughter she can watch it, but just maybe not the first couple of episodes with me because some of the sex is quite graphic.
Oh, all right. God.
And there's sort of fluids and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
bodily
I
fluids?
thought fluids.
Oh,
yes.
my good grief.
Sort of soaring through the air.
Oh, that's not what I'm used to. Oh, dear.
But it's such a good television series, and it's so well written, and it's so well acted, and it's just the feeling of friendship is genuine, and it's hard. It breaks your heart.
Oh.
So grab a back box of tissues for that one.
I'll watch that.
But yeah, what have been your favourite television shows over the last few years, or just through your life?
The programmes that stick out for me that I really loved when I was a teenager probably were things like Red Dwarf.
Oh, yeah!
I think that really influenced my sense of humour. I think that kind of... Because it's quite odd.
Yeah.
And it's very funny and very clever. I'm saying I'm funny and clever.
You are very funny and you are very
That's
clever.
not what I'm saying. I think it's quite off the wall as a sitcom. I mean, just the setting itself, and just so I just loved it. So many things made me cry with laughter. I loved Sharp with Sean Bean.
Oh yes, I never watched Sharp, but my Auntie Mary was absolutely in love with him. With Scene Bean.
With Scene Bean, because I was a bit of a history geek as a teenager, and I actually had read the books before even the series came out. So
wow.
I know. I know. That's that person. And I loved it and got really into that. And in fact, I might try and watch that. I might try and get a box set from somewhere. Poirot.
Oh,
David
yes.
Suchet.
Yeah.
Classy as anything. And
yes.
Loved David Suchet. I met him once and I was a bit, giggly.
Oh, really?
And
he shares my birthday, David Suchet.
Oh,
yeah. Just little drop that date for
am I
you.
not
With
surprised?
the rain man.
You know
Him,
that.
Him, Engelbert Humperdinck,
Humperdinck.
David Beckham, Humperdinck, Engelbert Humperdinck, David Beckham, Lily Allen, Jimmy White, and Matt Berry from.
I like him from Toast.
Him from Toast, and we're all second of May babes.
Oh well, what a great day to be alive.
Yes, and Alan Titchmarsh.
Oh my goodness, I've seen him in real life.
Have you? What's he like?
Do you know what? He's incredibly sexy.
Is he?
He has got something.
Really?
He's got that magic twinkle.
He's got a je ne sais quoi.
Oh, and that's absolutely, he really has. I saw. I mean, I didn't talk to him or anything. I think maybe smiled and said hello. I don't know. But I was a bit.
And you just melted.
There was a bit of a rumble in the tum tum.
There's juice loose about this house.
Oh, no, not that far. And the other thing is probably, Friends, It just was there through my whole kind of, I don't know, late teens, throughout university. I used to watch it on a Friday night before we went to the student union every week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's got really positive associations.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Friends is it's the one show that even now I can watch, and whatever mood I'm in, it just improves it and makes me not think about anything too much. I'm just quite happy to be with those people. And you'll probably find that your kids will get into it, because mine did when they were about 11. It's such a comforting show.
That's so nice you've been able to watch it with your kids.
I love it. Well, do you know what? Last night, if we've got sort of 20 minutes and it's nearly time for bed, everyone will go, just put Friends on. And it's just that sort of comfort. Did you ever watch when you were younger as well, Vicar of Dibley?
Oh yeah. That's a lovely show.
Both of my kids we've watched all those together, and they find that one of the most comforting, lovely shows. We watched a few of them at Christmas, and that's just like a hug, isn't it?
I absolutely adore it. It's the mix of wordplay and the physical comedy that Dawn French is just so adept at. When she falls into that puddle, I mean, that will never stop being funny.
No,
it's like when Del Boy falls in Only Fools when he falls through the
bar.
Yes, it's just hilarious. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it, it's hilarious. And when they're moving the chandelier,
Yes.
the other one falls. Oh yes.
Did you see the documentary about that? Because they were talking about when they filmed that they only had one take for that, and the guy who was the producer, I think it was, said to Nicholas Lyndhurst, "If you laugh, I'm gonna not sack you, but I'm gonna dock your wages." And he was saying, "You dare laugh about this? You dare laugh?" Because they got one take, and so Nicholas Lyndhurst said it was absolutely horrendous. He was trying not to laugh, but then the producer started laughing as soon as it had happened, and he said I could just see him physically shaking in the background. But it was so funny.
I would have had to sort of probably pinch myself. Maybe he was pinching himself or something. I know they had their hands.
Well,
they
were holding on to the other chandelier. But oh my god, I remember hearing Celia Imrie apparently said that she bit the Two Soup sketch, that she bit the inside of her mouth so hard so that she wouldn't laugh at Julie Walters, that her mouth was bleeding by the end of the sketch. But you can't laugh, can you? But oh my god, when something's that funny, it's so difficult. But the Del Boy thing, when he fell through the bar, I remember watching that with my dad, and obviously we didn't expect that to happen, and we both laughed for a good 10 minutes, and I remember, I don't think I've ever heard him laugh that loudly and that long ever in my life. It was so funny. I just remember it's such a brilliant moment. It's iconic, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Such a good show, and all of those characters just still stand the test of time. In fact, the day before I turned 40, we got into bed, and I got my laptop, and I said, I'm just going to watch Only Fools and Horses, and I watched the Jolly Boys outing to Margate and had a gin and tonic in bed, and I was like, goodbye 30s. This is a nice way to see you off.
Oh, that's lovely. So what were your other big shows? What are your faves?
I always go back to Sex and the City.
Ah.
But over the last year, sort of through the lockdown period and everything, I rewatched all of Sex and the City from start to finish. And it's so interesting to rewatch it at a different time period, because obviously it started in the 90s.
Yes.
And as time's moved on, and as I'm a different age.
Yeah.
And I always really wanted to be Carrie Bradshaw, but she's actually really annoying.
Oh, yeah.
When I watched it, she's so insecure and needy with Big, and she's so sort of up and down, and which was a bit disappointing, but I could still watch it so easily. It just transports me to another world. I just loved Sex and the City. What's your guilty pleasure? Do you have a show, if you've got half an hour, or if you've got the afternoon to yourself, what would you put on the television? Or would you not put the television on?
I wouldn't. And this is my problem. I think probably should watch more telly. I'd probably have a much happier life if I just watched more telly.
So what would you do instead?
What I do is hardly anything. I mean,
but if I said, Suze, you've got an hour, the house is empty, do what you want.
Oh, I'd probably clean.
Oh,
I know. I
you
need
should
help,
watch more
Esther.
telly.
I need to watch more telly. And actually, I was at my mum's house. I had some work, and I was away from home and staying at my mum's. And I did watch And Just Like That. At 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I was watching telly at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was absolutely loving it.
Yes.
So I need to do more of that. I think the only time I watch, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, the only time I watch telly in a day is when I'm ill. And I would watch something like Homes Under the Hammer.
And would that be a guilty pleasure? Do you like Homes Under the Hammer?
I do like it a lot. I like any property programme.
Me too. That's like my guilty pleasure
I'm
stuff.
Just so nosy.
Love it or list it.
Yeah, I love
anything
it.
where they make something over that's a house, or location, or George Clark's Old House, New House.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Oh my God, I'm there. Nobody talk to me. I want to see this renovation. Make this ugly duckling into a swan and show me this beautiful house. I love it. And at Christmas, Ella and I get very excited because it's Kirsty's homemade Christmas, or handmade Christmas.
She's lovely, and she hasn't aged. Well. How does she still look the same age as she did 20 years ago?
Well, she's looking very dewy considering she's 50. So
is it crafting?
Is it crafting? Probably.
Yeah. I should do more crafting. I'm going to be more Kirsty.
We interrupt this programme with a U-bash. Studies have shown that too much screen time is detrimental to the development of a child's brain, whereas too little is detrimental to their parents' sanity. In my day, there were no televisions, but there was a lot more gin at tea time. Goodbye.
What about kids shows? What did you love when you were growing up?
Top favourites: Bagpuss, Maid Marian and Her Merry Men, which was always very funny. Rent a Ghost. If we're going, you know, Bagpuss and Rent a Ghost. That's going really far back there. Going Live.
Yes.
And before that, kind of Saturday Superstore.
Oh, do you know what? You're saying these things and I've forgotten about some of them. Going Live every Saturday morning, I'd be that would be what I'd want to watch. It was really annoying because I'd always go to my grand's mid-morning and she lived about 5 or 6 miles away, and then we'd have to stop off at the greengrocers and the butchers, and I'd be missing Going Live or Saturday Superstore. And I'd get to my grand's when my aunt still lived there. She'd be like, I want to see what Sarah Green's wearing. And now I can be a bit like that. If I'm in the house in the morning, I might go, I'm just going to put this morning on and see what Holly Willoughby's wearing, and then I turn it off again.
Oh, really?
Wearing. I don't know why. It's my aunt was exactly the same. I've just inherited it. My favourite show when I was a little girl was Cockleshell Bay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember it?
I do remember that.
Oh, it's just lovely. I rewatched the opening on YouTube not long ago to see what it was like. I just cried my eyes out.
Yes, it's funny, isn't it? I watched Bagpuss on YouTube. I found it for my daughter or my son. I can't remember who I was trying to get to watch it. It's so slow now though. They kind of wind it up. But I had the same. I was like, oh wow, it's just like punched me in the heart, really.
Teenage years. Grange Hill. I used to like Grange Hill. And I also used to love a bit of Baker Grove.
Oh, Baker
Grove. And jump in the air. And I fancied Gil, who was in the first series and was very hot. And I think he died in a car crash.
In real life?
No. But he was beautiful and he used to wear a leather jacket.
Oh, yes, I remember him.
And now I'm still quite traumatised by PJ's paintballing incident.
Oh, yes.
If anybody I know goes paintballing, I'm like, please don't take your mask off. Just leave your mask on. You don't want to get blinded like PJ.
That was dreadful, wasn't it? That was a real... Yeah. Because we didn't... That was sort of not the norm in children's TV. Sort of something that traumatic. I'm used to Bagpuss, for goodness sake. Someone going blind as a paintballing. Especially not Ant.
I know.
Oh, I remember going to a Radio 1 roadshow when I was a teenager in Birmingham, when they used to have bands come and play, and you'd just go for free, and it was Steve Wright presenting for free. Just turn up in Centenary Square in Birmingham.
Oh, wow.
And Steve Wright was there, and Aswad were playing.
Yay!
And PJ and Duncan.
Wow.
Let's
With
get
a bit of
ready to rumble. Yeah.
How are they good?
They were brilliant. I mean, amazing lip syncers. It was great.
Oh, yeah. I did speak to Ant McPartland once on the telephone, and he was absolutely delightful.
On the telephone? Why?
Tinder date.
What?
No, I was doing some work at CITV.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in the studio with Stephen Mulhern and Danielle, I think her name was. So I was like live with them, and then they said, oh, can you... It was when SMTV was still on the television.
Yeah.
So they said...
that was great as well.
It was amazing. It was so good. And they said, oh, can you just go and speak to whoever's calling through from SMTV before we put them through live to Stephen and Danielle? So I had to go into the other studio and... chat, and it was Ant McPartland, and he couldn't have been lovelier.
Oh.
And he was so sweet, didn't know me at all, and was like asking me how I was. And do you know what? Stephen Mulhern was also one of the nicest guys
I bet.
ever.
Well, he's done. I mean, he's worked a lot for a long time, hasn't he? He's worked.
Yeah, but this was at the beginning of his career, and he. I remember I was doing some work at CITV. And then I had an audition for Emmerdale. And then about 3 months later, I went back to do some more work at CITV. And I walked into the offices at Central. And he was like, hi, Esther, how did you get on with Emmerdale?
Oh.
I was like, because I think I was down to the last 2 or something for a role. And I was thought, oh, my God, I've not seen you for ages. You remember my name. And you remembered a detail about me.
Yeah.
You know, that's so sweet. And he was really, really lovely. And I liked him enormously.
Oh, well. You never know.
Yes.
Get him on the show.
Yeah. Come on, Mullo.
Come on, Mullo.
No.
Now, are there any programmes that you should have liked or should like, but actually hated?
Oh, I feel like I'm going to get lynched. Film-wise,
Oh,
there is one film, and I try to love it, and every year I try to love it. And
every year.
Every year I
Is it
try
a
to love
Christmas
it.
film?
Yes, it's Love Actually.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to say Muppet Christmas Carol.
I want to love that film, and I think it's an absolute massive crock of poo.
Okay.
I try so hard. Do you know what, Suze? I wrote 4 pages about why I hate Love Actually.
Oh my goodness. Love Actually, it's the one, it's Hugh Grant, obviously, and it's Marty McCutcheon and Keira Knightley, and it's not the classic, because I do love Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Oh,
quite like Notting Hill.
Richard Curtis, in my eyes, is not a genius, but I love his films.
Yeah.
About Time, if you haven't seen that, is one of my favourite films. It's Domhnall Gleeson, but Bill Nighy, Rachel McAdams.
Okay.
Lovely film. Can watch it over and over again.
Okay.
This Love Actually,
Come on,
I
then.
find
Hit me.
so. Oh my. Okay. Well, I love Richard Curtis stuff. So if Richard, if you're listening, babe, I'm
a
really
big fan.
sorry.
He was a big fan.
I am a big fan of everything else. Vicar of Dibley, Blackadder. Big up your bad
I
self.
forgot about Blackadder. I just have to say, I was obsessed with Blackadder as a teenager. Obsessed.
And when Rowan Atkinson grew a beard,
Sexy.
fit, really
Absolutely
sexy.
fit.
Took the beard away. Mr. Bean, no. Grows a beard, bit of a cad. Hello. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. It's a great idea. You've got all these big actors, but they're trying to cram everything in too quickly. So, like, one of the first scenes with Alan Rickman and Laura Linney, and he comes in, she calls her into his office, and he says, and this is a direct quote, "And how long have you been in love with Carl, our enigmatic but attractive chief designer?" And it's
no.
all the lines are like that. Sex god Colin can't get a woman because he's really annoying, goes around offering women his nuts as he's trying to sell nuts, goes to America, hooks up with 3 incredibly hot women who take him to bed instantly, and then he brings Denise Richards back for his mate like a bloody Toblerone, gets off the plane, and then she walks up to his mate and says, he told me you'd be sexy, and gets off with him instantly. It's just so much of it I just don't believe. The whole thing is set over 6 weeks. Sex weeks. And at the beginning you've got Liam Neeson, who is distraught that his wife has just died, but by the end he's getting together with a Claudia Schiffer lookalike who he meets at the end of the film.
Esther really doesn't like Love Actually. Let's see if she's finished.
Martine McCutcheon is not fat.
Nope. Safe to go back yet?
Bill Nighy recording a Christmas song 5 weeks before Christmas. Just wouldn't happen.
Is she still going on?
Why do they speak Portuguese, but why do they live in France, where Colin Firth has gone?
Oh, for f***'s sake.
And then why does Hugh Grant, the Prime Minister, why does he not know where an ex-member of his staff lives? Why does he need to go down the road and knock on every door of every house to find her? And why does he not have a mobile phone?
It'll be Christmas by the time she finishes. And then Love Actually will be on again. It's a horrible, vicious cycle.
But come on, Emma Thompson. Come on.
That is the redeeming thing for me. There are 2 things I've got that redeem it for me. Emma Thompson crying, Bill Nighy and Rabsy Nesbitt when he says, "It turns out you're the love of my effing life." That's it.
Yeah.
I do love a bit of Emma Thompson.
It's just, like, there's just loads of weird flaws. I just watch all the scenes and think, that wouldn't happen, and that doesn't make sense. And so that is a really, really, really long rant and will need to be severely edited down, but you get the drift.
Don't worry, Esther. I've sorted it. I've always liked the film myself.
I was worried when you said it was a Christmas film, because my favourite film of all time is The Muppet Christmas Carol. It just makes me so happy, and I know all the words.
Yeah, we watched that on Christmas Eve, and I always say Susie's favourite film. And
I actually did work with Stephen McIntosh, who plays Scrooge's nephew, as Michael Caine likes to call him. So who says nephew?
Nephew.
It's a nephew. So weird. No one said Michael. It's pronounced nephew. Anyway,
I mean, would
he's
you?
nephew.
I love Michael Caine. I would let him say what he wants.
Say what you like. Say what
like
you like,
Michael. You're a ruddy legend in my eyes.
But I worked with him, and it took me about a day to say, I have to say you're in my favourite film of all time. And he was like, I'm Muppet Christmas Carol. Yes, Stephen, I know you're a serious actor with multiple credits to your name, but yeah, that first film you ever did straight out of drama school, that was the one.
Did he look you up and down and then work out which of his films was your favourite, or did he just go?
I think he just saw from the glee in my face.
The fact that you were walking around going, "Like the lamp, not the rat, like the lamp."
Feeling hot. Yeah, that's it.
I used to like the Muppets. I had a Muppet album on vinyl that my parents bought for me. Yeah. when I was little.
Cool people, talk about their vinyl collection.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It is cool to have vinyl now, though, isn't
You
it?
ain't got nothing if you haven't got a Muppets record.
Yes.
It's very cool.
You've literally touched Scrooge's nephew.
I don't know if I've touched him, actually. I've spoken to him. I don't know if I touched him. Damn. The only, my sort of moment of global stardom closeness was Christian Slater.
Oh, wow.
Because I was in Edinburgh. I was doing a play in Edinburgh at the same time Christian Slater was doing a play in Edinburgh. He was doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he was very good. I was standing on a bollard holding a banner up for my play. And I was because I was holding the banner, for some reason, I couldn't just put the banner down and get off the bollard. I was just shouting, "It's Christian Slater! It's Christian Slater!" as he was walking towards me. And I said, "Ruth, give him a flyer." My friend Ruth. He was looking at me, smiling, and he passed Ruth, and he just went, "Pay attention, Ruth." And she gave him a flyer. And
that is very cool.
It was very cool, and she was so happy because he spoke to her, and he hadn't spoken to me. But I'd seen him. I'd instigated it.
Were you like, "I'm Susie"?
I know. Say my name, Christian. Say my name. I love you in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. But it was very exciting to shout Christian Slater in his face, and I then understood why people, when people see famous people, they do just say their names,
Christian Slater,
because you can't quite believe it.
Yeah,
I was such a big fan. I mean, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, literally, that's the film. That and Muppet Christmas Carol are the films I've watched the most in my life, and I know the whole soundtrack. I used to listen to it every night fully, and the soundtrack. On the morning I got married, I woke up to Classic FM or something.
You are getting cooler by the minute.
Get my hair and makeup. Oh, I am embracing it. I mean, it's my favourite programme. Classic FM.
Well, Classic FM is ace. It is very cool. But it's just like, it's just
I know, I'm so not cool.
You're so down with the kids.
I mean, I can't even pretend anymore. But it came on 7 a.m, whatever it was. And what was it playing? It was playing the theme tune, classical theme tune to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
That's
it's a fantastic soundtrack. Do 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 do. It is so great, and I was like, "This is a sign.
This is a sign that I should either get married or I should run off and find Christian or Kevin." I don't know which it is. I'm going to go with get married.
I'm just going to go with that. It's all organised and paid for.
Did you ever see one of my favourite Christian Slater films? We were all kind of obsessed with for a while at school. Was Pump Up the Volume.
Oh yeah. Where
he was
amazing film.
It was such a good film, and we used to write on our pencil cases and our folders like lines from it, like "The truth is a virus" and Happy Harry Hardon, I think he used to call his character, didn't he?
Yes,
we used to
DJ,
write that all over our belongings because we were so sort of captivated by this rebellious teenager that he played. I must watch that. I must tell my daughter to watch that actually, because she's sort of that age now. So
yeah, I might.
Again, probably not with me for some of the scenes, but I just tell her to go and watch stuff in her bedroom. Watch that, but not with me, because it'd be a bit weird. And I am pretty cool about stuff like that. They know they can talk to me about anything, and they invariably do talk to me about all kinds of things, which is wonderful. But there just is that moment. Like I remember, oh God, watching sex on television when you're younger with family members. Oh God, awful. Oh. And my parents used to go to football, like reserves or a Tuesday night game or whatever at the Albion, and so I would go to my grand's, and Pennies from Heaven was on, and because she didn't have a video recorder because it was like the 80s, I had to sit through Pennies from Heaven with her every week, and it was mortifying. But every week the lead actress and Bob Hoskins would be singing a song in a 1920s style, and then they'd just start having quite hardcore sex, and I'd just be sat there sort of 9 years old thinking, oh God, make it stop. But I understand she wanted to watch it, and frisky old bird wanted to watch it.
I'm Louise Theroux, and this is Weird Weekends with Louise Theroux. Deep in the northern countryside, also known as Manchester, I met Derek and Patricia Andrews, who were formerly known as Magic Act of the North. Ta-da!
Hello.
Hello.
We are Derek and Trish Andrews, formerly known as Magic Act of the North.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! As you'll probably be aware, we've recently given up magic after a very nasty accident. That's right, isn't it, Patricia?
That's right, Derek.
That's right. Why don't you tell the audience what happened, Patricia?
Well, you see, we used to throw knives.
That's right.
And it was our most famous act.
That's right, that's right.
But because of your carpal tunnel, it came very close to me eye. 2 centimetres away, weren't you?
That's right. Me carpal tunnel syndrome, you know, mixed with me penchant for a port and lemon, unfortunately affected me aim, and I nearly took out my wife for 47 years. So we decided to regroup and decided what we were going to do with our lives. And we've set up a swingers
society.
A swinging society. That's right, that's right.
We're called Swinging with Ta-da.
We've had some business cards made up and popped them in the local cafes and leisure centre and planted a pampas grass outside our house.
We're on Twatling Avenue in the bungalow hidden up the corner.
So if you want to come down...
We're open to all sorts. Open to all sorts.
Open to all sorts. You know, don't be afraid at all. Trisha's bought a lovely pot to put the keys in.
TK Maxx.
TK Maxx. It was a right bargain. It should have been $12.99, but she got it for £3.
We've got a nice comfortable lounge and a pull-out sofa bed.
You've always fancied being a bit lesbian, haven't you?
I have. I'm very game.
We're open to mixing it up.
Yeah.
So if you want to come along to Ta-da Swinging Society...
Ta-da.
Then just come up the cul-de-sac and find the pampas grass.
We'll see you there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Unfortunately for Derek and Patricia, the uptake for their first swingers' night was rather disappointing. They put this down to their pampas grass being stolen from their front garden. Derek and Patricia did, however, manage to rope in old friends, the Crankies. So, join me next week as I see how the 4 of them got on and find out if, as promised, the evening was fandabby-dozy.
Well, Sarah, Lily Jean, Tallulah Famula Smart.
Oh, yes, darling.
We're so happy to have you on our
That's a
podcast.
pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Yay! And we've got questions for you, and we've got quite a few audience questions too.
Oh, wowzers.
Yeah. Quite a lot of fans out there, Sarah Smart.
No, really? Oh, my goodness. Anyone remember who I used to be?
Oh.
Before I was a mother of 3.
A mother of 3 wee ones.
Yeah, 3 little babbas.
Today's guest is the super talented and, quite frankly, joyous Sarah Smart. Since starting out as a child actor at the age of 10, opposite Miranda Richardson and Zoe Wanamaker, Sarah went on to land multiple roles, including a leading role in the much-loved ITV children's show Woof. She then successfully navigated that tricky transition from child actor to respected and lauded adult actor. From starring as Virginia in At Home with the Braithwaites, to working alongside Sally Field in David Copperfield, to teaming up with Sir Kenneth Branagh on Wallander. There seems to be no role she hasn't played and no TV show she hasn't been in. We talked to Sarah about what drew her to acting in the first place, what some of her favourite roles have been so far, who she's worked with and been super impressed by, and what she's got coming up in the future. Welcome to the show, Sarah Smart. You started out when you were really young, didn't you?
Yeah, I started out as a babba too, yeah. 10 years old was probably the first big job I ever did. With Donna, my sister, we were twins. Brummy twins in a film.
What was the
film?
film?
In a film. The film was called Ball Trap and the Coat Sauvage, and Miranda Richardson was in it, and Zoe Wanamaker.
Wow!
Jack Shepherd, yeah. And it was all set on a campsite in south of France, and me and my sister, we were playing Brummy twins, and the family that went and disrupted everybody's lovely quiet time in the campsite by arguing with each other about our espadrilles. She's got my red espadrilles on, Ma. So yeah, that was our first foray into acting, yeah.
And then what happened?
Oh, and then obviously I was spotted from that, my beautiful dulcet Brummy tones. But no. And then I auditioned for Central Junior Television Workshop with you lot, didn't I?
Oh, so that was after the film?
Yeah, yes, that was after the film. Because myself and Donna went to a speech and drama class together from the age of 5, and then we just saw in the paper that they were auditioning Brummy kids for this role in a film. So yeah, so it all just went on from there. And we decided we loved it because it was such good fun filming with big famous people.
I mean, God, that's quite a start, isn't it? You know, Zoe Wanamaker and Miranda Richardson.
Yeah,
that's
and
incredible.
Jack Gold was directed it. Yeah, so
Wow.
he's a great director. So yeah.
So then you got into the workshop with which we were as well.
Got into the workshop with you lot.
And I remember vividly, this happening because Esther and I also auditioned for the same part, but sadly didn't get it. But you did. You, Rachel in Woof.
Rachel Hobbs in Woof. Yeah, that was my that was my first main role ever. Yeah, that was amazing to get that.
Do you know what I remember about that audition as well? Because they saw a lot of girls, didn't they? And I know we all made it to about the last 9, and then I got into the audition room with the guy that played Eric and just forgot all of my words and just sort of fell apart.
He was very intimidating, was old Eric.
He was oh God, he was like Robert De Niro.
Oh, he was so sweet, such a lovely guy.
And what was that like? Because it was 3 years, wasn't it, playing Rachel?
Yeah, playing Rachel Hobbs.
It took over your life.
It did, actually, every summer. And a bit into school as well. So I had a chaperone and everything, and a tutor for my schoolwork. And oh gosh, it was just really, really exciting because I got out of school, didn't particularly love school at that point, much preferred filming, being on a film set. It was just amazing to be treated like that and to be working with all these adults. And so it was great for the social skills, great for your confidence, great for everything like that. It was just, I feel really blessed to have been able to do that from such an early age and work with all those adults in such an interesting environment. And I learned a lot about myself, about the business and we worked with loads of different actors because there were really good actors on every week. On each episode there was like how people would come in and do guest leads, and some of them were absolutely fantastic. And that's when I met Lisa Goddard, who was she played the teacher in Woof, and then she got me her agent through Woof. So then I got a London agent and then carried on from there. So yeah, it all baby steps.
Was it after you did Woof or before you did Woof that you thought, actually, I'd like this to be my career?
Yeah, I think it was at that point because then I had to go back to school, and I was thinking, and then it took me up to 15. That was it exactly. It took me up to the age of 15, and then we had in the old hall in our school, St. Paul's Convent School for Girls. We had a little shout out there, and they were really good to me actually. But then I did have to be a good girl to get out of like school sometimes and do my filming. But they had the what's it called? The day when people come over to see what job you want.
Like careers
fair sort of thing.
Careers day. They had a careers day in the old hall in our school. Yeah, and at that point I kept going around to all these tables, and they talked to me about science and being a teacher or childcare and all these different things. And I kept thinking, nothing is really interesting me as much as acting and being an actress. But I felt so silly in one way of saying, I really want to be an actress, because no one at that time, it didn't feel like from a girl from Birmingham should be saying something like that. Like no one said things like that or were things like that. So yeah, so it was a bit of a, but I just knew then at that point I was like, I've got to be an actress because that's all that seems to interest me out of this range of jobs. Did
you go to college, or was it a sixth form?
Yeah, so I went to college first. I went to art college first because I was really interested in art as well. And then that was a bit boring because all my friends, my friends from school went to a different college, Cadbury College. So then I thought, I'll leave art college because that was a bit boring and go where my friends are. And then I kind of dossed about a bit, and then I started getting parts again. So I couldn't really finish the year, and so then just left college and went on and became an actress as a career, which seemed like remarkable. But yeah, it happened. I still can't believe it now. I still can't believe I'm an actual actress now.
Is that really? Do you feel that? Do you sort of?
Yeah, because I just feel really privileged that I managed to get through, because a lot of child actors as well, especially, can't really make the transition. They find it really hard, and I don't know how I managed to wiggle my way through. I think at one point my career changed in a way that I became from just being a child actor, the girl next door type of roles and things like that, to becoming a character actress in At Home with the Braithwaites. That was the first real character part that I just happened to get. Like, I think a lot of it is to do with luck, time, and you're just in the right place at the right time. I just think I like to believe in fate as well. But yeah, so And then so I went on to be more of a character actress now, I think.
And with At Home with the Braithwaites, there's another girl from Central Workshop who was in that, from the Nottingham Workshop, Sarah Cherm, who played and wasn't her character called Sarah as well?
Yeah, her character's called Sarah. So that was quite
Sarah and Sarah.
Yes. So I'm Smarty and she's Chermy. And then there was Sarah Braithwaite that she played, yeah.
Lisa in Leamington wanted to know, are you still in touch with the cast of At Home with the Braithwaites?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We love each other. Yeah. Myself and Chermy, we were living together while we were filming, and so we became really firm friends and best friends. And then and then we kind of went our separate ways, but then we came back to live in the road next to each other in London. And then we started having babies. So she moved out and I moved out, and now we live in our different areas, but we're still very much in contact. And then we met up recently at Christmas, and then we ended up getting in touch with little Keely Fawcett. She's so not little anymore, but she was our little sister in That Home with the Braithwaites, and she's amazing. She was pregnant when we met her at Christmas. She's just had her first baby, and it was just amazing to all be together again. And Peter Davison, he was our dad, and we used to always cook for him in our flat and everything, because he was a bit, he didn't really like cooking and stuff for himself, so we had to look after him a little bit, and he's just so lovely. And everyone on that was, we were like a proper family. We really were. And it was amazing to work with the beautiful Linda Bellingham, who unfortunately died a few years ago, but she was just gorgeous. It was lovely. And we used to go out with her and everything outside of work, and she'd look after us in London because she lived in London and knew all about London. So so lovely memories from there.
So nice. So having that kind of family and community aspect, it's I was thinking, because it's like, you didn't go to university, but you went straight into your career, but you had that kind of that family feel. And that,
so it was a bit like Halls of Residence, though. It was a little bit like that, because it was learning, and then we were all living in a flat together, and also, like, all actors are just big kids at heart, so they're not like like Pete Davison and Amanda Redman, we were all just big kids, and Linda Benham, we were all just big kids together. So it just felt like we were in Halls of Residence. So it was the University of Life.
And from doing At Home with the Braithwaites, Sally Wainwright wrote that, who wrote Happy Valley and Gentleman Jack, and but you then went on to work with her on Spark House and on Jane Hall's Big Bus Ride.
Yeah, Big Bad Bus Ride, not just big bad bus ride.
Was it brilliant working with her, because she's such a great writer?
Sally Wainwright is the most amazing writer. She's just fantastic.
And in terms of the projects you've done with her, was it a case of she's written something and she goes, right, I want Sarah to be in this?
Well, unbelievably, she did. Like, she was kind of thinking of this Wuthering Heights, because she was born in Yorkshire on the moors, and Wuthering Heights, the Brontes, in that kind of area, and she was always interested in Wuthering Heights, and so she decided to do a modern day version of it, and she thought of me while she was doing it, because obviously we were doing At Home with Braithwaites at the time, and which was a massive privilege. And so that's how I ended up doing Spark House with her, and that was a completely different story to At Home with the Braithwaites, obviously, a completely different feel, genre, and everything. But she is just so amazing. She's just such a talent, and just brilliant writer for women, and just really gets women but can get it down on the page. And it was just fantastic to be able to meet her. And then just carry on with her have the partnership for a while.
Spark House was a kind of modern retelling of Wuthering Heights,
where the woman was the more Heathcliff character, though. So the guy was the more Catholic character, which was so exciting to play. The kind of the broody kind of one that walked the moors and
drives it all.
Yeah, exactly.
But you have actually been in Wuthering Heights as well, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I was. I forgot that, actually.
So that's quite interesting. So you've played Kathy.
No, I played Catherine Linton, who was actually Kathy's daughter. So a lot of the films don't go on that far, but obviously the book does. And so so Kathy dies in childbirth while she's giving birth to Catherine Linton, and then it's like Catherine Linton's story kind of carries on as the love story that kind of works out in a way with her, with the farmhand that works at their farm.
I'm quite interested because you've done so many different genres.
Yeah, that's why I just feel so lucky.
You've done Doctor Who,
Yeah,
and then you've done David Copperfield. I mean, it's
yeah.
kind of all the and some real high comedy stuff, and Midsummer Murders, Poirot. I mean, your CV is just—it's like, I don't know, it's like an edition of the Radio Times. It's just amazing. Everything is in there. It's so great.
I didn't even think of it like that, really. Just because, as a jobbing actor, you're just trying to get these jobs, and they suddenly pop up here and there. And then I suppose, then when you look at it like that, it is the most interesting job in the world. So you basically, if I went in the old hall again today, I'd be like, yes, I've done that job. I've done that job. I've done that job.
Yes, you have.
All the careers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a nurse. I was a teacher. I've been, bus driver, everything.
If you're preparing for a period piece, like David Copperfield or The Casualty 1906, and those sort of ones that you did, how does that differ from preparing for something like Doctor Who, for example?
Well, I think the costume, interestingly, is a real big deal when it comes to like period dramas, because that really, like, even just being put in that corset and the restriction of it and everything, that really informs your character and the way that you sit and stand, and that there are certain etiquettes that you should follow if you were really trying to be natural with the time period and everything. There's certain things, and there's even in the language and things, there's certain things that you should bear in mind when doing a period drama, because apparently, like, I did like a bit of a language course when I did Casualty 1909, and the lady who did the tuition, she was amazing, and she said back in that day people didn't really talk about themselves that much, so me and I weren't within a sentence. You didn't, well, I wish I was doing this, or me, and like you would just quickly just talk over those kind of words. You wouldn't emphasize the I and the me in a sentence, which I found quite interesting. Little things like that you pick up along the way that you would never learn otherwise.
Yeah. We actually had a question about Doctor Who from Alex, who said, how did you find working on it, and how long were you in makeup? Because you had to, your character sort of lost their mouth for a little while, didn't they, in it?
I lost my what?
Your mouth. It was sort of, weren't you
I lost my mouth. Well, I had a mouth, Esther.
I thought you had to sort of go.
Oh, at some point, when I came through the like flesh, I was coming through the flesh, but I had lots of I had this prosthetic jelly kind of face, because there was like, we would like, so obviously it was a human version, and then there was a ganger version that was made of flesh, so because we were working in an acid mine, so that the flesh could get burnt without us worrying, and then it'd get melted in this vat again, and then we'd be remade into another ganger and all of that. So it was like lots of prosthetics, but and hours in makeup. So I think oh, sorry, are you talking about when I had to have the actual first the cast of my I thought you meant in the actual show. I had a mouth. I didn't have a mouth. I was being cast. I had to have just straws up my nose, and it was so scary.
Oh my god!
No one told me that before that I went in to do it. They said, "Oh, we'll be gentle with you, so we're going to put this on your face, and then it goes hard, and then so we'll just stick these straws up your nose, and all your mouth will be covered and everything. But just if you just really try and relax, and it will get really heavy after a little while, but." They're just saying this, like, hoping that you'll just be all right. And then suddenly, oh my goodness.
Panicky.
Oh, absolutely. It was worse than I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. I've never done that, and I never will. But I don't think, because I don't want to eat bugs. But this was like on a par with that, I think.
Oh my
God.
God.
It was pretty scary.
If you were claustrophobic, you wouldn't do well.
No, not at all. But it really obviously works. And and then they obviously make this prosthetic mask out of it, and it was amazing. And but it was a few hours in the morning in makeup. But it's brilliant process, that is, because you kind of, as you transforming in the mirror, and you can see yourself transform in the mirror, you are getting into that character and everything. So you can't help but kind of be in that character, which and it's just so exciting to dress up like that, isn't it? And do them kind of things, and know that you're actually in actual Doctor Who.
Yes.
Even more exciting that you're doing it for Doctor Who.
It's incredible.
Yes. Which is such a different experience than any other TV show, because it's always very exciting, and and different and a new experience. But this, because it had such a following, we had to hide under umbrellas and have coats over our heads and everything, going from one location to another.
Wow.
And what the set from the car and everything, because people would be watching, and if they taking pictures if they could see us, and nobody wanted any spoilers at that point because it hadn't even been filmed yet. So so it was all very covert operation, and made me feel ever so special being involved in that.
Can I ask you about Funland?
Yeah, go on then.
Because I watched Funland and it was brilliant, but there was one scene, I mean, quite frankly, Sarah, I'm a very straight woman, but there was a scene that you did in that could have turned me. Really? But I also,
wow.
I was like, oh, hello, that's giving me a strange sense. But anyway,
well then.
How did you find filming?
I'm going to use that now. I'm going to use that against you, Esther. Anytime I need anything from you, I'll be like, do you remember me in that scene, Esther?
And Sarah, it will work. How did you feel? How did you feel doing that? Because I was
it the lap dance, the pole dancing?
Yeah, where you have to take your clothes off in front of a room full of people and be incredibly sexy.
I didn't feel that sexy. I felt a bit cold, and it's like, if you'd have seen all the goosebumps in real life that they managed to obviously filter out, I don't know how, then you might not feel the same. But
was it difficult to film? Was it mortifying?
Do you know what? It was more mortifying to rehearse it, because but once they say, I don't know what happens when a director says action to me. I think it must happen to you too.
Yeah, you're not you anymore.
As soon as a director says action, that's it. You turn it on and you do whatever you're supposed to do in that moment, and it just like happens, doesn't it? And the magic happens, especially for us. But rehearsing was so embarrassing because all the crew are there watching, because they've got to watch all these big burly men. All my things keep falling out.
Oh, did you had to strip when you did the rehearsals?
Yeah, because they had to see what I was actually going to do. And so that was the most embarrassing. And then they were told, now it's a closed set, and I was thinking, what's the point of that? They just all seen me doing it.
Had you had to have a work with a choreographer?
Yes, it was choreographed and everything. Because which was lovely, because it makes you realise there are boundaries, and you know exactly what you're doing. Like if I had to make that up, Esther would not feel that way about me in that scene. If I was just making it up on the spot, I'd be just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just bring out mum dancing, even though I'm not there.
When we put the questions out, I have got a friend called Mark, and he said, can you just tell her I say hi, #playing it cool? And
hi Mark,
very smitten with you. And I don't know how his wife Jenny feels about it, but maybe if she leaves him one day for Harry Styles, and then your husband runs off with, I don't know, Wincy Willis or something, then maybe you and Mark can be each other's backups or something.
Good idea, good call. That can happen.
I think he's just fainted.
I think Mark's got impeccable taste, is what I
think so too.
Well, yes, he and Esther share that. Have you got any memorable? I mean, obviously Doctor Who is definitely a standout moment, but memorable moments or scenes from programs that you've done that stick with you. Either for good or bad reasons.
I think Wallander was such a, Wallander when I got hit over the head with the axe, and had to shoot the dog. That was quite a memorable scene, shooting the dogs, like putting a gun into a dog's face.
Oh God.
Like I had to actually do that. But not a real, it was a real gun, but it was obviously empty. I hadn't used a gun before I did Wallander, and we had to have gun training, like proper gun training and everything, which was amazing to get to that opportunity. So that, so Kenneth Branagh was there, just even working with Sir Kenneth Branagh, that's just amazing in itself. And it felt really real, because it was really cold and we've been like trying to work out for ages, so it was kind of tiring, and then these dogs had to be on leads, and the trainer was obviously riling them up so that they would be really angry with us and like really growling at us and everything. So that was scary in itself, because they're supposed to like growl at us and bark and everything, and then break off their lead, and it looked like they could have done, and they could have actually mauled us, even though they're actually acting as well, dogs that were acting. It was remarkable. But So that scene, that will always stay with me, because then when I watched it back, I was like, oh God, that was a really like
intense,
violent and intense scene, but it worked really, really well for the drama.
And you worked with Kenneth Branagh on that. You were like the duo at the helm of the programme.
Oh my God.
And Tom Hiddleston was on it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston, he's amazing. Yeah, and he's gone on to do just amazing things, hasn't he?
You mean you've worked with everybody? Sally Field, Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Who else have you worked with? If I missed any.
You. I've worked with you and Susie.
Well, we don't like to
have,
boast.
haven't we? We've worked together at this one theatre.
Yes.
Lots of different
Edinburgh
theatres
Festival?
on stage, Edinburgh Festival. Oh, I love that. Edinburgh Festival is one of my favourite times in my whole life, actually.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was.
Right, so we've got some questions from the audience. Susan would like to know, who have you worked with that surprised you the most, in terms of, you imagine they'd be a bit of a wally but they were lovely, or vice versa?
Going back to Sir Kenneth Branagh, I thought, he might be a bit up his own bum. As soon as he met me, he said, Sarah, you've done so much TV, and I haven't done that much TV. Weirdly, he said that. So will you be able to kind of show me the ropes? Like, you're really, really experienced in this. And I was like, oh my goodness, is that a joke? And he was like, no, you've got a like really extensive CV in TV. And it'd be really helpful if you could help me out, or just have my back. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course I will do that.
Yes, Kenneth Branagh, I will have your back.
Yes, Kenneth, I will have your back. And I hope he feels like I do.
Oh, that's lovely.
And Susan also said, if you could play a character in any film, what would it be? Or who would it be?
That's a good one. If I could play a character in any film, do you know what? I'd have to be an action. Matrix. I watched the final Matrix just last night, and it was and I just loved the Matrix anyway. I mean, it is quite complicated. I was like, oh yes, now I remember it. It's a very complicated story, and what's the Matrix, and who are we batteries? What are we? Blah, blah, blah. But from the beginning, from the first Matrixes,
oh yes, the stunts.
What would you call this?
The
jazz hands.
The Matrix jazz hands.
Yeah, Matrix jazz with the flailing coats. Jazz hands and flailing coats
and the bullets. They're trying to get out of the bullets.
What's her name? What's her name?
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yes, Carrie-Anne. What's her character name?
She was amazing. I'd love to be her.
I can see
she is so cool.
You've got the right. You've got the right hair and the Oh
my gosh, I don't know. She's just ultra cool.
My thing about the Matrix is when I watched it. I didn't watch it in the cinema. I don't think. I watched it on telly, and about halfway through, I was like, "Why is he called Neil? Who calls a superhero Neil? It's like the worst name ever." And they were like, "It's Neo." I was, "Oh, okay, so it's not Neil." I thought this
it's not just
really
Neil.
Cool Keanu Reeves called Neil.
Yeah, Neil. All right, Neil. Right, Neil, what's with the jazz hands?
Yeah. Another question from Hazel, who says, which location or set have you felt most at home in?
Do you know what? The moors. Hazel, the Yorkshire moors, when I was doing Spark House. I don't know if anyone's seen Spark House.
I did watch it, yeah.
It was because it was only a 3-part drama, so maybe a lot of people missed that. But it was set on the moors, and it was Sally Wainwright wrote it. And it was the kind of modern day version of Wuthering Heights. So I was roaming the moors in a brooding kind of because we had to get up really early to film that quite a lot of the time, and sometimes there were lots of night shoots and everything with wind and rain and all. And it just felt so dramatic there and so beautiful, and you really got a sense of place and a sense of all the drama behind Wuthering Heights, the actual book, the Brontes, what they must have been living in, and I think just thinking about the Brontes and them writing and being all restricted in their little corsets and stuff, but looking out at these amazing moors and with all the weather and everything and the drama of the wind and the rain, and you were really taken into all of that. Well, I was anyway.
It's another character, isn't it? The moors.
Exactly. It's like a big character within Wuthering Heights and also within this Spark House. It was like a big character. So I think that out of all of the out of all of the environments I worked in. But also we did, was it like 9 different castles in all around Wales, and in Doctor Who we filmed the whole episodes of Doctor Who in 9 different castles in
Wow.
Wales.
Goodness.
I know. So we got to go all traveling all around, because they needed little different aspects of all these ruins to make up this massive acid factory that it was set in. So yeah, 9 different castles or something we ended up filming in. So that was pretty immense.
That's amazing.
Yes,
It's amazing.
And I noticed on your CV that you'd also done Death in Paradise.
Oh,
And that's filmed.
Oh yeah.
Dreadful.
How could I forget?
And that's
a
horrendous
shame.
job.
Where is that filmed?
Shame. The dregs. That's filmed in Guadeloupe, where it's set, because it was the first series, so it hadn't been on before, so we didn't really know what to expect and stuff. So we were all on this plane together, thinking, oh, what's this going to be like? It's set, it's a Caribbean island, so it can't be that bad. And then we got there and we were like in this amazing hotel with a brilliant swimming pool right on the beach. And a lot of I only had about 7 scenes, or even less than that, 4 scenes or something. But I was there for 2 weeks. So like, I was like, what have I done to deserve
the jammiest job in the world.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
jammiest.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. All of us actors were saying, what have we done to deserve this? It's
You've been very, very good.
Did you die, or can you come
No.
back into that series at some point?
I can come back, but I don't know what. I kept thinking, hello, I can come back, you know. So I mean, of course, I said that to the producer straight as
I'm
we
sure
were
everybody
leaving.
does.
I said, I didn't die. Yeah, he said every actor has said
Yeah.
that to me. So it's old news.
So Jacob Odell on Instagram asked, what's your next TV appearance?
Oh, thanks, Jacob. My next TV appearance is on Acorn TV. I'm in a thing called what's it called, Esther?
Is it the Chelsea Detective?
The Chelsea Detective. Esther's hilarious. She's basically everyone's PA because she remembers all names, all dates, all birthdays, all everything. So yeah, thanks, Esther. The Chelsea Detective with starring Adrian Scarborough. He's absolutely gorgeous. He's one of my favourite actors I've ever met. He's just absolutely lovely. He's gorgeous and brilliant at acting. And he's so it's his kind of big show. He's a detective and he lives in Chelsea. And I'm one of I was one of the guest leads in one of those episodes. But my character was really, really interested. She's dying of cancer, so in one way I was so excited to do it, and in another way I was thinking, oh gosh, this is going to be a hard one, because you've got to actually kind of immerse yourself in all those feelings that she would be feeling and everything. Yeah, she wasn't, because she was a victim and everything, and she looks like a victim, and she wasn't a particularly nice person. She wasn't particularly warm, so that was kind of interesting, that juxtaposition of being like ill and everything. You just expect people to be really nice when they're ill, but of course they're just human. So I don't think she was dealing with it very well, the character. So she wasn't a very nice person. So I don't know if that's put you off watching it.
I'm sure it won't put Jacob off. Jacob also asked about theatre shows, and he asked would you be doing any theatre shows soon, and I'm guessing that's probably not an option, as you've got
I know,
3 young children. But I've seen you in theatre. I saw you in a play at the
I've
Bush.
seen you in theatre, Susie. I've seen you in theatre, darling.
And do you because you've done a lot more telly obviously than theatre.
I've done a lot more telly. I feel so at home on a TV set, really at home. I feel so nervous on a stage in front of a live audience. It's amazing, the feeling, the buzz and everything that you get. But yeah, the rehearsal, and it's so different because you're rehearsing for such a long time compared to what you do in TV. TV is instantaneous, isn't it, really? A spontaneous kind of performance nowadays, because you don't get much time. But yeah, it's a completely different, it's different, but I do love theatre. I don't think you can be an actor and not love theatre, because you just want to tell stories, don't you? And telling stories to a live audience, when you can see their little faces looking up at you, and you're like, I'm telling you this story now, like, and you're just sitting there and watching me. That's hilarious.
For your ambitions and what you'd like to do in the future, when there's more opportunity, when you've got more time, what sort of things would you like to do?
There's some amazing things that are coming out in Netflix and everything nowadays, and some things like that. I'd love to be in some of the kind of dramas, maybe work with people from like American people more, and And also, I think I'd like, I'm only saying that because I'm in the middle of Ozark. Well, I'm nearly at the end of Ozark, and I just love Ozark, and I just want to be in Ozark.
Put that out there. Let's manifest it.
But the trouble is, I think it's finished. I think that it's got to finish, because surely at some point, very, very soon, they've all got to just die, all of them, everyone in that show, because it's a.
I need to watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
No, I haven't watched it, but I will.
It's really fantastic. Just that's some brilliant writing, and there is some brilliant writing around. Bridgerton, yes. I'd quite like to be in Bridgerton, and I'd love to don a big dress again and corset. I'd love to go back to period dramas, because I really enjoyed immersing myself in that kind. But I was thinking as well, I did a thing called Casualty 1909, which was set in real history, and these characters that we played in 1909, they really existed in that time. And I'd love to play real people, because I've done that a few times now, and that just feels really exciting, because you think, oh gosh, I'm actually telling this actual person's story, and like other people, and like a bit of history is coming into the fore. And
well, you played Dawn French's mum, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Oh, Dawn French, she's amazing. I love her. Yeah, she's gorgeous. I've always loved her since I was little.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah, just watching her with doing French and Saunders with Jennifer Saunders. Oh my gosh.
Is she a good hugger? Because I imagine nestling in those gorgeous bosoms would be. That's. I mean, I'm so.
Oh my gosh, Esther! I think I have to get a warrant out. I think
somebody's come over today.
I have to get some kind of. Because I think you would just be there in her bosom like, for hours.
I would be enveloped.
I can imagine you be enveloped in.
We'd have a buzzy off.
Bosom and love it. You would. You'd love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine that. Now that you know how you felt about me.
Yes.
I'd feel like that about watching you and Dawn French. Cuddling, snuggling.
Have a little menage a trois.
She's good. She's such a lovely lady, and I played her mum hilariously. This was back in the day when this sounds weird, but I played her mum, but she wasn't playing my daughter, if you know what I mean.
That wouldn't quite work.
Much younger.
Wasn't she playing the Queen mum?
Yeah, she was playing the Queen mum. Yeah, it was a big story that really happened to her, of when the Queen mother came to visit her in her house, because her dad worked in the army and they were living in barracks. And the Queen mother came around the soldiers' barracks and everything. So she met them, and that was a retelling of their life. Yeah.
Wow. My goodness me, Sarah Smart, you have had and are having the most incredible career, and I can't wait to see what you do next. And I'm glad that we can WhatsApp each other about all this stuff.
I know, absolutely.
Well, it's great, because I feel like I've asked all the questions I've always wanted to kind of sit down and meet for a chat. We're not going to right, Sarah, let's talk about your career. And actually, that's what I quite like to do. So.
Yeah, and I've confessed my lust for you as well.
It's all good. We're not even drunk.
I know.
That'll be the next one. Next season, all drunk interviews.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been such a delight.
Oh, thank you. I love you. I love you too. You're gorgeous, and your podcast is brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Carry on, girls.
I am absolutely mortified. Absolutely mortified. I've just had Carol from next door come and knock on my door and say, Shirley, did you know that your black bin bags have come apart and your rubbish is billowing up the street? So I came back in and I got my marigolds on and some bin bags, and I went back out the front, and before I knew it, half the road was out picking up bits of our rubbish here, there and all over the place. And I thought that was a low point. But then me and Fat Barry were chasing up the road after me packet of Tenor Lady and me tummy control pants packaging, and then the worst thing happened. Beryl from over the road, the one with the lazy eye who had that terrible bout of gout. She'd found the packaging for the cakes I'd passed off as my own the other day at our Great British Bake Off competition, where I won Star Baker. And now they all think I'm a fraud, and I'm not. I'm a very good baker. I just didn't have time to bake that day as my chiropodist appointment had overrun, because apparently I've got an unusually large build-up of hard skin on my hind foot. And now all the neighbours are supposed to be coming here tonight, because it was my turn to host. I very much used to be the alpha female of this cul-de-sac, but I fear my crown may have slipped. I am absolutely mortified.
You know that phrase, it's not the winning, it's the taking part that counts.
Twaddle.
My thoughts exactly. So this season, we thought we'd spice up your lives with a bit of a competition.
Booyakasha!
There's an actual trophy up for grabs.
Boom! How do we win?
Well, each week we're going to ask a question on the social medias. The best responses will be read out in the following week's episode, and the writer of the very best audience story of the whole season will win the trophy.
Oh, I'd better get writing.
No, Esther, you can't enter.
What? That's absolute So this week we asked you... What did we ask you? What your favourite television programme was, or has been, or is, of your life, from your life.
And why.
And we had some cracking answers.
Yes, took me back. So I'll start off with with Michelle. Michelle on Instagram. She replied, moonlighting for the mystery, witty banter, and mainly Bruce Willis's twinkle. I think she means in his eye, not anything else, not a euphemism.
I remember moonlighting. I remember the meme tune, and I remember thinking that he had a je ne sais quoi, even when I was about 6, like, there's something very attractive about this man. And also the chemistry between him and Sybil Shepherd, there was something going on, wasn't there?
Oh, it was so great. He is utterly charming.
Yeah,
I loved that programme as well.
Yeah.
We were quite young when that was out.
Very young. I just remember it being on that, and things like my mum watching things like that, and Laverne and Shirley and Cagney and Lacey, and those were the things that I was always trying to get a little shot of. And also I remember I would have to go to bed at 8:30, and sometimes I'd hear the Dallas theme tune starting. I was quite annoying. I would sob extra loud in the hope that my parents would take me down so I could watch it, or I'd sit on the stairs, because sometimes I was allowed to stay up and watch Dallas and Dynasty, and I'd really sort of see if I could manipulate them by crying, and it didn't work. They were pretty, they were good parents. It didn't work.
I do remember discussing Dallas and Dynasty the day after at school.
Yeah,
that was kind of the first water cooler.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't have a water cooler at school. We weren't
water cooler.
White collar workers around the water cooler.
In your gingham summer dresses.
Yeah. More like, I don't know, oak tree in the middle of the field programme, if that's a phrase.
LOLO as well. I remember doing that with LOLO.
Yeah.
Sitting on the stairs, desperate to watch it because it was just hilarious. And
we wouldn't have got anywhere near all the innuendos that were going on there.
No, but God, it was funny.
Yeah.
Caroline Cousins, the lovely Caroline Cousins, said on Instagram, Outlander for the time travel, Scotland, romanticism, and Sam Heughan, I think that's how you say his name, and Poldark, just because of Aidan Turner, and the Tudors, all historical romance, and Pride and Prejudice for Colin Firth.
There's a theme, isn't there, running
There's
here?
a theme. It's hot men in period costume, and Caroline is all over that.
I'm absolutely, I'm down with that as well, totally.
I've never seen Outlander or Poldark, but I saw the first 2 episodes of Outlander. They were very frisky. I should have carried on watching. I will go back to it. But Colin Firth in Pride and Prejudice. I mean, I think I was 18 at the time, and that whole series is imprinted on my mind. And him coming out of the lake.
It's an absolute classic, isn't it? Classic scene.
It was a seminal moment in, I think, most females' lives.
And they recreated it, didn't they, in Bridgerton? A bit.
Yes, with Jonathan Bailey.
With Jonathan Bailey. Iconic, isn't it? That's the word.
Yeah.
It's an iconic scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all happy with that. Very happy with that.
Excellent work, Caroline.
Excellent. Bit different here. So Jo on Twitter, thank you, Jo, has said she loves reruns of The Bill. She says, it's like I'm watching and enjoying it for the very first time. That and Big Bang Theory.
I was in The Bill. So you might have seen me, Jo. I was, what was my character's name? Sarah Osman. And I'd stolen a girl who'd been involved in a hit and run's credit card, and I got hauled into the cells. I was interrogated by Carver. I had quite a good role, and we had to shoot in this shopping centre in London, and I had to be chased through this shopping centre with them all yelling "Stop thief!" And we had to do so many takes, because the first take, somebody swung a bag full of cans at me to stop me, to floor me, because they genuinely thought I was a thief.
Yes.
Thought I was a real thief. And then and then another time, this old Irish guy who was lovely was like, "Quick, come here, I'll hide you."
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It was amazing, but it was such a lovely programme to work on, and everybody was lovely. In fact, if we find, I'll see if I can find a photograph or a clip, and I'll put it on Instagram
gosh, get
after
the
this
clip,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, I don't feel like I'm a proper actor because I've never been in the Bill. That was the programme everyone had to be in, wasn't it? So I'm never, ever going to be a proper actor.
Oh, you are, Suze. You are. We've done Doctors. We've both done Doctors.
I didn't even audition for the Bill. That's how...
Didn't you?
Anyway, but Joe...
You were too classy.
That's too good. I don't look enough like a thief. Jo also said she thinks it's... Because I asked why particularly she loves the Bill, and she said she thinks it's so well acted, it hasn't dated. Obviously, Esther, you were in
thanks,
it.
Jo.
Yeah. And she said, I've spotted outfits that I wore back then. And she said, obviously, I had no style. I don't think that's true, Jo. And she said, it's also inoffensive, which is good for today's TV viewing.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
There's probably sort of slight innocence about it, even though it's all about crims.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a great time. It's lovely. It's a good show. Hannah Miller said, This Is Us, The West Wing, Grange Hill, Line of Duty, and The Split.
There's a lot of range there. Bit of a
There
range.
is a lot of range, but they're good shows. The Split. Have you watched The Split, Suze?
Oh yeah, I've binged The Split. Absolutely
In fact,
love it.
you told me to watch The Split when I had the COVID in September, and I watched the first 2 series in one day because I couldn't leave my bedroom because I was isolating, and loved it.
It's brilliant. I've never actually seen This Is Us, although I will because so many people said it's great.
Yeah.
And I've never watched The West Wing.
No, me
I feel
neither.
Like I think it's gone too far now. I don't think I'll be able to commit to that many that many episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe I can. Maybe somebody can persuade me that it's a good idea.
Yeah, and Grange Hill, iconic, and Line of Duty, obviously incredible.
Yes.
But yeah, I've never watched This Is Us or The West Wing either, so I could do with...
Maybe we can watch them together.
Maybe we could hold hands through Zoom.
Okay, I'm going to sing something now because the next show...
I'm guessing, so I came in with my own little riff there.
I loved it.
Doctor Who!
No, it was
I genuinely thought it was no then.
Yes, so Thermal Satsuma, which is my
Yes.
favourite handle, that's the word, said, my favourite show has to be Doctor Who. I watched it from behind the sofa when I was small and still enjoy it now as every incarnation brings something new. Weeping Angels, even I know what they are, as well as the old favourites, Daleks. Yes,
I love Doctor Who.
It's one of those programmes that it doesn't matter how old you are, you've got a doctor of your era. So mine is, and yours probably, I would have thought, is Sylvester McCoy.
Oh no! You see, now for me, because it probably is Sylvester McCoy, but because my kids have been watching it for the last 8 years, maybe, I don't relate to that. My doctor for me is David Tennant or Matt Smith because my kids started watching it and it was just brilliant. We haven't watched so much the last couple of series, but then that's not a reflection on Jodie Whittaker. For some reason the stories just haven't been grabbing me as much, but I'm very excited that Russell T Davies is coming back to write. And have you seen some of the clips from the new series? My god, it looks incredible. Neil Patrick Harris, I'm assuming, is the master because I know that he is playing it. Russell T Davies said on Instagram it's his Doctor Who's greatest nemesis, so he's got to be the master, I would think. And David Tennant's back in it for a few episodes.
Oh well, I'm watching then. I'm a big David Tennant fan.
Yes, I love Doctor Who, but when I was little I used to hide behind the sofa as well.
That was Sylvester McCoy was the 80s, late 80s I think, early 90s, and
Peter
I kind of
Davison.
remember Peter Davison. Yeah, he was before. Was he before him? I think he was just before
I think he was. And Tom Baker.
Yes.
As well, and Colin Baker.
I've met Tom Baker. I've worked with Colin Baker and Tom Baker.
Have you?
Yes.
Look at you.
Yeah. In fact, I've been in Doctor Who, not the TV series, the audio.
Oh, have you?
Audio dramas. Big Finish is the production company that makes Doctor Who audio dramas. And and all the doctors do them, you know, the real doctors. So I've been in one with Tom Baker and one with Colin Baker.
Terry Martin says, Lost in Space. That gives my age away, lol. The evil Dr. Smith, the notion that good triumphs evil. I remember Lost in Space being on a Sunday lunchtime just before we'd have a roast dinner. The telly would be on in the kitchen And as I was growing up, and Lost in Space would be on. So that's my sort of memory of it. Next one
I've got John Wood. Anything associated with Donald B. Belisario is gold. So he's talking about Quantum Leap.
Yes.
JAG? What's JAG? JAG?
No idea.
And the NCIS franchises.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Actually, but Quantum Leap is one of my favourite programmes of all time. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, yeah. Loved Quantum
And
Leap.
he says, also love Death in Paradise, which is great escapism, and Ghosts, perfect for all family. Love Ghosts. Love a bit of Ghosts.
It's very good.
Great.
Stuart Arundale says Outlaws, Ted Lasso and Slow Horses. And Heather also says Ted Lasso. And I love Ted Lasso. Have you watched it?
No. When something's on a platform I don't have, I just completely ignore it. But I can probably watch it quite easily, but I just haven't.
We always take Now TV for 3 months when they offer it for £1 and then cancel it at the end, or Apple TV, and we do that
yes,
for like, and we watched Ted Lasso, and I watched the first episode and I was like, not sure what I think, and then fell in love with it. And it's all in Richmond, so you see the streets of Richmond, which is obviously beautiful. Yeah.
What's
so
where I used to live?
Yeah, well, you'll recognise all the little passageways. And what I love about Ted Lasso is it's just not predictable in any way. You think, oh, here comes a cliche, this is what's going to happen, and it doesn't. And it's got such a big heart, and I adore Ted Lasso. It's so good, so good.
Nick Mohammed's in Ted Lasso. I've seen him do his stand-up show in Edinburgh a few times. Well, he's a great character comedian. So,
right.
I mean, it's not, I suppose it is stand-up, but he's playing a character. I mean, I still remember some of the stuff he did in shows that I've seen like 10 years ago. And
really?
I just cry with laughter when I think about it. He's so funny. So brilliant with an audience, and such a clever man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really great. If you ever get the chance to see him do a show.
I've heard so many good things about him, and he does do that show with David Schwimmer, doesn't he? And I saw them being interviewed on Graham Norton, which is another show I love, actually. And they were saying, well, David Schwimmer said, I had to work with Nick Mohammed. He's just brilliant. He's just a genius.
Oh, wow. How great.
Which is fantastic. But I think you'd like Ted Lasso. I don't want to hype it up too much, because I know if somebody hypes anything up too much to me, oh, you should watch this, you'll love it, I instantly go in on like almost with a more critical eye. Like,
yeah, no, it's true.
I don't know why that is.
Yeah, you watch one episode and go, nah, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, exactly. Michelle Bonnard also says West Wing. I watch it on repeat every winter. Imagine if good, smart people are running the world. Just imagine.
I don't think I can.
It's not
even
computing.
a thing?
I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I mean,
I think
no.
Yeah, my brain's combusted.
You've flummoxed me.
I think that this might be the last one.
Okay.
Dan Mahari. On
what
Twitter
great surname!
This is a good name. Mahari. Hi, Dan. He said, my favourite programme right now is Glow Up, because it is super inspiring. The skill and imagination of the makeup artist is so far out of my frame of reference, it's amazing. And in 4 seasons, there hasn't been a single person, makeup artist or judge, on it that I didn't like. He said it's a tremendous production, and he'd love to be an ugly model on it and see what I'd get transformed into.
Wow. I've seen a couple of those because my daughter quite liked them, and they're brilliant.
I've not seen it.
Sarah Smart, her husband is the DOP on it, on the director of photography on Glow Up.
Very cool. And well, to be honest, this whole thing has just made me, I've now got a massive list of programmes I need to watch. It'll probably take me in the next 25 years, but I'll get there, guys.
She'll do it.
I'll get there.
We can support her. Come on, Suze.
I'm going to take one for the team.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your messages. They're brilliant, and we've got some fantastic suggestions. Thank you.
You have been listening to Limited Time Only.
If you've enjoyed this episode, then why don't you share it with someone you think would enjoy it too?
Please like, follow or subscribe so we can pop into your ears on a regular basis.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on the podcast.
Your glowing reviews will help to shape future episodes and help other people to find us.
You can join the Limited Time Only conversation on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
And you can email us hello@limitedtimeonlypodcast.com. We'll be back for more next time.
But for now...
Sorry, Richard Curtis. Can I watch the telly, Mum?